Welcome to the Lounge Lizards podcast. So good to have you here. It's a leisure and lifestyle podcast founded on our love of premium cigars, as well as whiskey, travel, food, work, and whatever else we feel like getting into. My name is Gizmo. Tonight I'm joined by Rooster, Senator, Pagoda, and Bam Bam. And our plan is to smoke a cigar, drink some rum, talk about life, and of course, have some laughs. So take this as your 95th official invitation to join us and become a card-carrying lounge lizard. Plan to meet us here once a week. We're going to smoke a New World cigar tonight, share our thoughts on it, and give you our formal lizard rating. We smoke one of Pagoda's old favorites. We discuss the cigar industry's major legal victory over the FDA. We learn that DoorDash is delivering cigars in Texas, and we discuss the spotted lanternfly invasion, all among a variety of other things for the next 90 minutes. So sit back, get your favorite drink, light up a cigar, and enjoy as we pair Mount Gay XO Rum with Foundation Cigars El Güegüense in Toro Huaco. A Toro tonight from Foundation on the pod. It's called the El Güegüense Toro Huaco. It's a 56 ring gauge cigar by 6 inches, and Pagoda's so excited to smoke it, boys. He lit it about 10 minutes ago.
Yes, he did.
Oh, absolutely.
It looks like a double Toro.
One of my favorites. It fits straight into my mouth.
Oh, boy.
All right. Hey, listen.
This is a beautiful cigar, man.
Yeah, it's beautifully made. Great.
So the other cigar we did from Foundation was the Tabernacle, which performed pretty well.
Yep.
Nick Melilo's company. We can get into the history a little bit. But first, boys, let's cut this thing. See, we're getting on the cold draw on the wrapper. This was a recommendation from Pagoda. You used to smoke the cigar a lot, right?
Yeah, I used to smoke a lot of these. I was introduced to this by either Cliff or I forgot the name of the guy at Nat Sherman. So I used to go to Nat Sherman a lot. And we're talking about, I just moved to the city in 2015, started going to Nat Sherman again. It was great. After work, I would just go drop by for a cigar. And, I was really into New World, as you all know. And at that point in time, one of the guys introduced me to this. And I really enjoyed the cigar at that point in time. And it became one of my go-tos. And so whenever I felt that I didn't know what to smoke or was hesitating, I would just pick one of these.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, this foot and the wrapper, it smells incredible.
The cold draw is great.
Mm-hmm.
Fruity, right? It's
a little
kind of
fruity.
This could be the most fruit-forward cold
Yeah.
draw that we've had on the podcast.
Raisin plum, I'm getting.
Yeah. You're right.
High expectations. Certainly, I was surprised when it came in. Obviously, it's a Toro, but this is a significant size cigar.
Oh, it's a monster.
I mean, this is not little.
No.
I forget how Toros really look. Meaning, this is huge. I can't imagine I was smoking these.
This is what Pagoda used to smoke before he met us.
Hey, listen, absolutely.
Now he's a Lancero guy.
Yeah, but Lancero guy and into mild and medium, So
Nice cold draw.
Yeah, great cold draw.
Yeah.
All right, boys, let's light this thing. The El Güegüense Toro Huaco. It's a 56 ring gauge cigar by 6 inches long. It's a Nicaraguan Puro, Corojo 99, in all aspects of the cigar. Wrapper, binder, and filler.
Mm-hmm. How much were these?
Under $10.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Very reasonable. Again, this is from Foundation Cigar, Nick Melillo, the former man who was in charge of tobacco at Drew Estate for a long period of time. This was his first cigar that he launched under his own brand. Obviously, he has a lot more than that now. And people love this cigar, like Pagoda.
I used to, meaning I haven't had these for quite some time. But yeah, meaning this really, like I bought boxes of these. Obviously, going to Nat Sherman, in those days, you used to get the opportunity to meet the guys like Nick Melillo in events. And, I don't remember much of the story because I was drinking a lot. But, firsthand, it was me, him, and a buddy of mine, Shahid. Three of us were just hanging out and talking to him for maybe half hour. And El Güegüense. I don't know. We don't call it Güegüense.
Oh, God.
So this is pretty nice on the light, guys.
It's a pretty full flavored cigar right off the bat.
Nicaraguan, meaning, I would imagine, at least it used to be so much more in my flavor profile. I think the likelihood of us enjoying it, I thought, would be high.
Well, I'm glad we have it in a Toro because there's so little flavor. We just need as much of this as we can get.
Yeah,
It does come in a Lancero as well, by the way.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
I'm seeing it comes in 5 sizes: Corona Gorda, 46 by 5.6; a Robusto, 50 by 5.5; a Churchill, 48 by 7. Maybe that's the one you're thinking.
Yeah, maybe that's
The Torpedo, 52 by 6.2, and this is the Toro Huaco, 56 by 6.
So this is what I used to smoke, and that's why I'm glad we're doing this. Although I know that Nick's favorite size is not this one. I think it's a different size. I don't know which one it was, but he was very excited about the cigar. I think it's his first cigar that he made.
Yeah, this
in
is the
Foundation.
first one. Yeah, this is the first one that came out when Foundation was launched. I think it was in the mid 2010s, late 2010s, and we did a whole history on the Foundation on that previous episode. So if you're interested in that, check it out. But boys, I'm getting a ton of flavor on this, but it's not kicking me around, which I'm happy about.
yeah, and I'm not getting a specific note, but it's enjoyable. I'm liking it. I'm still getting the raisin and plum that I got in a cold draw.
Do you get a little coffee?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Rip. Espresso.
A little coffee at the end, though.
Yeah.
I'm getting some sweetness at the front. As soon as I draw it in, just a touch of sweetness. It's still fruity,
Yeah.
and there's definitely coffee there as well.
There's a lot of tobacco in this.
Oh, yeah.
You can
This is a
the-
heavy
feel
cigar.
the heft.
For $10, this is a true value, it seems, for what you're getting.
And the construction is excellent.
Oh, yeah. Wide open.
I mean, that's one thing I give Foundation credit for generally. Their cigars are all very accessibly priced.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had this cigar, but there's a kind of newer version that they made of it called the Wise Man Maduro.
That has the red band, correct?
That's right. 'Cause
I've heard of that.
This is like the original Wise Man, and then they came out with the Maduro version. The only reason I tried that, I had mentioned the cigar bar Shelley's in DC that I visit a lot. Every year when CA has the top 25, they get all the New Worlds that are in the top 25, and that Wise Man Maduro was like within the top 10 or top 5 one year. So that's why I tried it. It was actually pretty good. I bought a box after having it. So Pagoda was telling me that he likes the original Wise Man, so I'm glad we're trying this.
Yeah. No, I tried the Maduro once. I didn't enjoy it as much, at least in those days. And I just stuck to, like the thing about me that I stick to what I like for quite some time. And this was one of those where I smoked this and introduced a lot of my friends to it. And I think everybody enjoyed it, at least for that period of time. We're talking about mid 2015, 16. Yeah.
So the pronunciation of the name on this was something I certainly got wrong leading up to the episode. Even I put it in that intro thing that I do so people can, the lizards out there can grab cigars that we're going to smoke. It is not Güegüense. It is Güegüense.
Güegüense.
Güegüense, even though there's a lot of G's in it. It is El Güegüense, and it's a Nicaraguan Puro. And there's an interesting anecdote on Foundation's website about the line that I'll read. It says, for 500 years, Nicaragua has served as a crossroads of cultures, even since indigenous inhabitants mocked arriving Spanish conquistadors as a colorful, costumed, satirical masterpiece called El Güegüense, or the Wise Man. That's what that means, obviously. It's Nicaragua's signature work of drama, the ultimate expression of its unique history, language, dance, and culture. This grand bale or great dance continues today, not only in the form of long-held folkloric performances, but in the careful blending of Nicaraguan tobacco, which is some of the richest, most flavorful filler tobacco in the world. I thought that was a nice little
Very
little
nice.
blurb about the cigar.
Well written.
Interesting history too. To the name of the cigar too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but I haven't heard a lot from Nick Melillo recently, right? Like, I'm sure that he's introducing new cigars, but yeah, it seems like he's definitely an up-and-comer in the cigar industry with his own brand, of course. I think he was involved in Liga number 9, by the way.
Yeah, he was the tobacco head for all of Drew Estate. And I think he was very involved in Liga and the Underground series as well. But so Foundation has a lot of offerings. El Güegüense, as we know, we just spoke about the Wise Man Maduro, which is the sister cigar to this, the Tabernacle, which we did, the High Clare Castle, Charter Oak, the Upsetters, Menelik, Knight Commander, Matapa, and then finally Olmec, which has been a cigar I've seen a lot of guys smoking,
I've had that a few
is that
times.
Olmec cigar.
Yeah, I've had that.
That is one of his. I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was one of his until we came in today, but
Yeah.
I've actually had some listeners request that, so we'll have
Is
to
that
add
right?
that to the list. Yeah.
We have to do that on the podcast because I feel like I just keep seeing people
I-
smoke it, and I
constantly.
look at the label and I'm like, or is that like a attempt at
I
Cohiba
know, it's
labeling or something? I'm always very confused when I see it, but
Yeah.
it's very popular.
It's a nice cigar. It does need to dry out a bit when you buy it from the store, no doubt. This though, the aroma is fantastic.
This is good.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to say Pagoda was correct. He does offer a Lancero now. It's 7.5 by 40 in an odd 13 count box, which is pretty cool. There's also a little Perfecto 4-inch by 60. So like I said, all of the tobacco, wrapper, binder, and filler are Corojo 99, and also in the filler is Criollo 98. And they all come in 25 count boxes, except for the Lancero that I just mentioned. And Cigar Aficionado gives the line a 92 point.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see how we compare tonight. Like Senator said, it ended up in the top 25, which is why you had it at Shelley's. By the way, I had a listener email us saying that because of your recommendation, they went to Shelley's and absolutely loved it. So
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
It's a great spot.
Yeah.
it's the only
Institution.
spot, right?
Now
in
it's the only
DC.
spot. Yep.
Which is a tragedy.
I know.
Wow.
I'm glad I left DC.
Oh boy.
Well, we have 11 spots in New York.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're on the decline. But
Wow.
Yeah,
They're there.
They've been on the decline for a while now.
I
unfortunately.
know it's like we are the pariah community, but what do we do?
So I'm getting a little bit of a Tatuaje type pepper thing on this,
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm getting that pepper.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's the pepper for sure.
which
Yeah.
is kind of taking it down a step for me. I don't like that.
It's strange. I don't get any pepper. No
Really?
harshness
I
for me.
get cedar, earth,
Cedar, yes.
peppery,
Earth.
little black pepper kind of
Interesting.
note.
Maybe a touch.
Yeah.
The aroma is great though. Honestly, I'm getting a little maple on it, which is unusual. At the burn line.
Yeah, so it's a little sweetness.
I'm still getting that sweetness on the front of my tongue, which
Yeah.
is helping with the pepper in the back.
Oh yeah.
But I don't love that pepper thing that some of these New Worlds have.
I'm not getting a lot of pepper though.
No, it's not
I
I
pronounced
get
for
little
me.
just a
bit.
little bit, which
Yeah.
for me is a good amount.
Oh yeah.
Tatuaje sometimes can be like a pepper bomb, which
That's
is too
all.
much.
I think that's the entire flavor profile of Tatuaje.
No, thank you.
Yeah, if you look at the wrapper, right? Like I think the wrapper is a Corojo wrapper, and what they do is they put the sheets for the wrapper to grow in Nicaragua, because in Nicaragua you don't get wrappers, like you don't get the tobacco to really roll wrappers, so they put sheets so that the tobacco grows a little lighter and thinner, and that's the wrapper they use over here. It's interesting, like the processes, because if you really talk to Nick, he's based out of I think Connecticut,
Yeah, he's in Connecticut.
and he's really into the Connecticut shade and wrappers, and obviously whatever he's learned through his lifetime. But he brings some really good cigars.
Actually, very recently, I saw an article that he was pretty heavily impacted by weather, lost a lot of crop, I think, due to heavy water up in Connecticut. So that's unfortunate. I think
Yeah.
they're going to have enough to make, the next year or two of tobacco, but it certainly affected the crop.
Sounds like a price increase coming.
Very well could be.
Yeah.
But at $10, I mean,
great.
it's $12 even. I mean, this is a very,
Great value.
yeah,
So he grows his own tobacco
he does in
Yeah.
Connecticut, yeah.
in Connecticut.
And in Nicaragua.
Ah.
Yeah. He's a big grower of Connecticut tobacco up there. But this was all grown in Nicaragua, obviously, and it was also rolled in Nicaragua. In Esteli.
How are you finding the ring gauge, guys?
I don't love it. I mean, obviously, we did such a block of thinner ring gauge cigars that we had to, obviously we have to cover everything. This is not my preference. The reason why we did this one was Pagoda said this is the one
Sure,
he smoked. So
of course.
obviously, this is the one we want to do. But I would not reach for this
Mm-hmm.
unless it really ends up blowing me away tonight. This is not a size that I even would reach for in my
They make
tower.
a 46, right?
They
You
do.
said
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
I'm impressed so far.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I'll say about the ring gauge, I'm in Gizmo's camp in that this is not a ring gauge that I reach for often, but I'm pleasantly surprised that My problem sometimes with larger ring gauge cigars, I feel like I just don't get as much flavor. It's like so much air is just running through it that it kind of mutes some of the flavor notes, but I'm getting a lot of flavor out of this. And so I think because it's a fuller cigar,
Yeah.
it holds up well in a larger format.
Also, the density of the roll helps.
That's true.
It minimizes that airflow.
Yeah, and bigger the ring gauge, the cooler the smoke.
That's true too.
Right.
Because of the airflow. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a reasonably light cigar to hold. Like it doesn't feel very heavy.
It's got
It's got some
heft,
density
some
to
weight.
it. Oh yeah, which I like. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it feels significant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but great construction.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's burning great.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing that, to piggyback on what Senator was saying, what I would be concerned with in a smaller ring gauge is concentrating this flavor more
Mhm.
and creating more oomph. That you're maybe not getting in this bigger ring gauge. Obviously, I'm sure that they're adjusting blend accordingly, but I would think in a smaller ring gauge, you're definitely getting a little bit more of a powerful cigar.
Oh yeah.
Especially in a Lancero
Oh yeah.
or a Corona Gorda.
Imagine this guy, a Lancero.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit different experience than the Cubans or the Dominicans.
I'm just glad nobody's put it down yet.
I mean, it takes a bad cigar for us to put it down, but it's performing really, really well.
I don't think you've met Rooster.
He never puts a cigar down.
I even smoked a Zito.
That's right.
And loved it.
I thought that was a Kai Dorsey.
That's what I
It
thought.
was a collab.
Kai Dorsey. So for the listener, we're referencing a previous episode where we told the story of Pagoda and Puba pranking Rooster by putting a Kai Dorsey Cuban band, the Kai Dorsey number 50, on a Zino Davidoff budget entry line cigar
I
and
still
totally fooling him.
have nightmares.
Oh, please. Don't make him relive it because, the more you make him relive it, the more I'm tense all the time around him.
Yeah, it's been a while and Pagoda's still nervous.
I think that's how I'm going to be for the rest of my life
It's-
around him.
It's understandable. Eh?
So speaking of gifts, I want to get
Yes.
to the gifts that you brought us
Yes,
because
let's do it.
What is this now?
this is excellent. I'm in the loop on this, but I'm very excited to see what you guys think.
What is going on?
Yeah, so Rooster brought us some gifts tonight for the lizards.
Wow. Are they Xenos?
His new favorite.
I think for Christmas we should all go in and buy him a
I
box of
pass.
Xenos.
I pass.
So Rooster handed out a velvet bag with drawstrings to each of us with something on the inside.
Yeah, just open it.
Okay. Oh wow!
Wow.
All right.
What the heck?
So Rooster got us
Official.
custom lounge lizard with our names on them, cigar stands.
Dude.
Cigar
Wow.
stands
That's
made by Troy.
Yeah, Habano Troy.
Habano Troy Woodworks.
Yep, Troy Woodworks.
Look at
Check them out, by the way. Makes amazing stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, custom engraved with our Lounge Lizards logo and our
Yeah, it's
Lizard
just Pagoda
names.
over there. This is fantastic.
You know what? I'm going to put my cigar in mine right
What I
now.
love about it, it has a keychain, so you can put it on the keys and
can
take
put
it
on
anywhere.
That's cool.
It like comes apart. Yeah, Troy makes some great stuff. So Troy Woodworks, I think his website's troywoodworks.com. He makes custom draw tools, custom ashtrays, custom cabinets, obviously custom metalwork like this.
Yeah,
Really,
that's great work.
every kind of accessory you can imagine for the cigar community, Troy makes them, and he's awesome.
I have
Is it-
goosebumps because I've wanted a cigar holder stand like this, and I just never bothered buying
Yeah,
one.
I've only seen Gizmo has one. I mean, I don't own one. I don't know if you guys have one.
All right, so I'll say this: like Bam, I've wanted one for a while. I've just looked at them online. Most of them, they just don't
Uninteresting.
look great.
Yeah.
They're not good quality. I mean, Gizmo's works really well because it's integrated with his cutter, so he
Yeah,
doesn't even have to.
it's a DuPont. It's like $200.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
stupid.
Right, but this
This
is
is-
really nicely done.
Very cool.
I love this.
Oh yeah. Thank
I-
you so much, man.
I actually am happy that it's the metal one and not
You're
the
welcome.
wood. Yeah, this is fantastic. Thanks, Rooster.
Awesome.
So
Thank you, Rooster.
Yeah, he also sent me you can also get this made in wood, but I think stainless steel just kind of feels it's got some heft.
Yeah, it has oomph
feels
to it.
nice in your hand.
What this will do is when you're in a club and you pull it out and you put your cigar in that, it's going to be a piece that everyone will chat about. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
And what's nice too, it's stainless steel, so it holds this massive cigar that we have in our hands right
Yeah.
now.
It's not buckling.
Yeah. And you can also get this as he also does like a bottle opener thing, built
cool.
into that.
Wow.
So
I got to say, the lizard logo really came out nice on
Yeah,
it.
it
Senator
looks
was
great.
commenting on that, but
Very cool.
it came out really good. Our name right above it. So
Well
thank
done.
you, Rooster. Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, guys.
I'm going to employ this right now
yeah.
in
welcome.
episode.
Lizard Troy, well done.
Fantastic.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He also sent me a torch lighter on him
Oh, nice.
with our logo engraved and
Really?
personalized it. Yeah.
Where's
Very
mine?
cool.
Christmas.
The hell? Yeah, there you go.
For you, $49.95.
You got it. Done.
So, boys, let's talk about our pairing tonight. I think that I'm hoping that this goes really well with the cigar. It's Mount Gay XO Rum from Barbados.
Barbados, that's right.
Yeah, so we got this from a lizard friend of ours, Eddie Mau Mau, who I actually met in Cuba in March. He was there with our friend Nestor, and met him with Bruce and Phil. And very, very kind guy. And we were at a party the other night, and he said he thought of us when he went to Barbados and brought us back some XO Rum, Mount Gay, which I haven't had. So I'm really excited to try it.
It's delicious.
And I found it weird, Senator. I think we talked about this when he gave it to us. I find it weird that it has that cognac age statement on it. Is that a common thing? Is that
So it is. I hate to say it is among rums I don't usually like. So I was very skeptical of this. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, look, like Ranzacapa is a very popular rum. They have an XO. It is so insanely sweet. It is so clear. There's so many additives in it. I don't enjoy it. I mean, it tastes built for kids. It's not an adult drink. But this, I have to say, this is really good. I mean, I'm sipping this neat. I think
me too.
all of us are.
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
Yeah, it's delicious.
I think it's great.
Yep.
wonderful, neat.
It pairs well with the cigar.
I think it has the perfect amount of viscosity to it.
Agreed.
Yep.
And, again, credit to you, Senator. A perfect pairing for this New World cigar tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Mount Gay actually has a really cool history. It's the oldest rum company in the entire world. I had not known
Wow.
that prior to us doing this. But it dates back. There's a deed of sale for the original plantation that they started making the rum at from 1703.
Wow.
Just crazy.
That's 70-something years before the founding of the United States
It's
of America.
unbelievable.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And then kind of this guy, John Sober, bought this in 1747 and kind of grew this into the real distillery and brand that it is today. There are tons of jokes about this guy last name being Sober.
Yeah, the irony's not lost.
Yeah. So there's a lot of interesting facts about their history. I'll go through first just kind of how the distillery changed hands, and then just some really interesting stuff about kind of how they do things. So I mentioned John Sober purchased it in 1747. The name doesn't obviously come from John Sober, Mount Gay. It comes from his friend, this guy, Sir John Gay Allen, who eventually he had managed the business for him. And this guy came up with all these innovations in the distilling process, like really took it to the next level. So the Sober family wanted to rename the brand after him. And apparently there's a Mount Allen in Barbados, so they couldn't name it after his last name. So one of his names, Gay, that's how they got Mount Gay, became the name. Today, though, in the late 90s, Remy Cointreau owns the brand now. So
Really?
it's part of kind of the Remy
okay.
empire.
Hmm.
But a lot of interesting stuff about it. It is there's 4 different types of stills that they use to make this. I almost wish a grinder would love a lot of this, but they have small Spanish and Scottish pot stills, a coffee column still, which we did Japanese whiskey made
That's right.
in
Yep.
coffee stills. And their most recent edition
Was
is
that the Nika coffee grain?
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Which was very good.
Yeah, that was
It
great.
It
Yeah.
was great. And their most recent edition is an Irish column still, which is cool. So kind of very innovative approaches. It's not like I wouldn't say it's the most traditional of rum producers. Another interesting fact about Mount Gay, their current master distiller, Trudian Branker, is the first woman in its history to run things now, which I think I mentioned. We did Appleton Estate. Appleton Estate had the first woman master distiller of any spirit at any distillery in the world.
Wow.
They kind of,
Wow.
broke the glass ceiling there, and it's amazing now. Mount Gay, I got to give the Caribbean credit. To have two of the biggest names in rum, Appleton Estate and Mount Gay, both having female master distillers is pretty incredible.
Pretty cool, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So in terms of their line, there's 4 main expressions they have. The entry level is Mount Gay Silver, which is a mixing rum, not obviously to be drank straight like we are. Next, they have a rum called Eclipse that's aged in 2 years in ex-bourbon barrels. Then they have a black barrel expression that's a mix of pot and column stills, and that's repurposed in bourbon barrels as well. Then the XO, extra old, what we're drinking now, which has a blend of rums that see from 8 to 15 years in the barrel.
Wow.
So a hefty amount of age. And then their highest end one is called 1703, and that's a blend that varies from year to year, but is said to include 30-year-old rums.
Wow.
In that
I'm sure that's
blend.
pretty pricey.
Something that I was fascinated reading, because this must be true of, it certainly is true of all kind of rums that are distilled in the Caribbean. It says Mount Gay, their rum ages nearly 3 times as quickly as spirits that are barrel aged in cooler climates. And then that would obviously hold true for all these rums distilled in the Caribbean. And it's basically the temperature. It says that about 10% of their aging rum is lost to evaporation annually.
Wow.
So it's just fascinating because you look at some of the age statements and the fact that it says like 8 to 15 years, that's a significant amount of age, but 8 years is almost, you think of how smooth certain rums can be. I mean, even Havana Club, that's Havana 7.
Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
But it drinks like it has more age than 7 years.
That's
and
true.
I think that's a reflection of really the climate,
So
which
it's just
I
the
never
heat.
knew.
Mm.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Which makes sense because, wine. Why don't you want to keep wine? Why do you want to avoid putting wine in high temperatures? Because it'll age too quickly.
Right.
And wine is all about finding kind of that sweet spot. And if you accelerate that process too quickly, the wine's going to be bad if you sit on it for 10 years. And then the last thing is just the Mount Gay Estate, which you can visit in Barbados. I've never been, but at some point now I kind of want to check this out. They are on a 280-acre estate.
Wow.
Which is wild. So a lot of history. It's a really cool brand. And it was funny. I was talking to Puba recently about this. And he was pointing out, if you think back, like pina coladas for years, where they'd have like a rum floater sometimes, it's usually Mount Gay that they would have as
Is that
like
right?
the floater on top.
I didn't know that.
But
Is it like the silver they're using?
No. The floater's the dark rum. So what's blended
excuse me.
in
You're
is the
right.
light
I'm
one.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm sorry.
But it's really good. I'm enjoying this.
So I'm going to say when I saw the XO on it, it was like, okay, this is just marketing or it's some sort of weird use of the cognac type of marking on their expressions. But based on what you just said, it seems totally appropriate for them to be using XO on this rum.
Yeah.
Like based on the age and based on their line,
That's true.
it seems like it makes a ton of sense to me.
Honestly, if you take it at the nose, there's a clear maple note, which is really enjoyable. This is quite a delicious drink.
And this is a wonderful sipping rum with cigars, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is it very like cognac-esque, did you say, or no? Or is
Not
it
so much. No. It's traditional
Traditional
rum
rum.
notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just done well and smooth and balanced. Like I was worried that this would be aggressively sweet, and it's not.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
And it's not overproofed where we've had that experience with the Foursquare.
Oh, yeah.
The cask
The morning
cask
after.
strength. It's like that stuff like
Oh, yeah.
knocks you around. Like if you don't have a cube of ice in that,
Ah.
It's like a horse tranquilizer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you're in
a
trouble.
problem.
It's crazy.
Pagoda, what do you think of the rum?
I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, it's like you said, not very sweet because I'm not a big rum guy as well, right? Like I'm a whiskey guy, and for me, except for the Havana Club, which I really enjoy, this is another rum I'm really enjoying.
The signature note apparently from Mount Gay, and as you just smell the nose, you get a blast of it immediately, and it's vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what I'm
Maybe
getting.
that's what
Yeah.
you're getting, Bam.
Instead of the maple, yeah.
Can I say something crazy?
It's-
I think this is the closest rum that I've tasted outside of Havana that tastes like Cuban rum.
yeah. Yeah, and Pagoda just mentioned that as well.
Are
yeah.
we on the same page or
Gizmo,
what?
you literally read my mind.
I do that a lot.
So,
Guys, should we leave the room?
I say it with so much enthusiasm because I've grown to absolutely love
Mhm.
Cuban rum.
Oh, yeah.
It's as good as it gets for me at this point. And it's so hard to find good rum outside of Cuba. I mean, I've mentioned like Appleton Estate, I really like their 12-year is great. But outside of that, Foursquare, I said it when we reviewed it, it's just too aggressive for me. I like the flavor. I can't responsibly drink that,
Yeah.
in any real setting. So
You need to plan 2 days of nothing after you drink it.
exactly.
You just shut it down.
Yeah.
So it's just been so sad for me, the fact that like there's really only one brand that I can legally purchase here that I actually enjoy drinking, and everything else I just find to be too sweet, so many additives,
Mhm.
just tastes artificial. And this is as close to Havana Club or some of the Cuban rums we've had as anything I've
Yeah,
had.
I find it closer to the Santiago that we had in Cuba, for me personally.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah,
Wow.
the 11
Yeah.
for me.
I agree. I think this is definitely closer to Santiago
Yeah,
than Havana
delicious.
Club.
This is
But
a great option. To
If
have.
you took if you took the label off of this bottle and said that this was Cuban rum, I would totally believe it.
I agree.
Yeah.
No question. It's really good. So I think what we learned, obviously, in Havana is how well that rum pairs with cigars. Obviously, it's a classic,
Sure.
marriage in Cuba and with cigars. And
Yeah.
this is something I'm absolutely going to run out and buy.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
this is a game changer because at this point I get anxiety when I'm running out of Havana Club or just any Cuban rum. And some
You're not
lizards
close to
here,
that.
some lizards here have really depleted my stash.
I'm
of,
looking around. I don't see anybody.
Yeah.
There's nobody behind you.
There's nobody behind me.
So the fact that now I think we have found something that is a completely worthy substitute. This is game changing for
I
me.
agree.
Is
Yeah.
it readily available?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Total Wine, any major liquor store would definitely have Mount Gay.
Price point?
It's a good question. Let me look that
I'm
up.
looking right now.
While he's doing that, surprising with a screw top, like a screw cap, that you're getting such quality.
Well, that's because it's a small bottle. It's
Yeah.
not the full bottle.
Does it come with a larger bottle?
I'm
Oh,
sure.
really?
Yeah.
That's the one to get.
So the Mount Gay Extra Old, which is the XO, 55 a bottle, which is a great
Not
That's
price
a great
point.
deal.
I'm going to run out and buy that tomorrow.
Great
Me
deal.
too.
This is really nice sipping rum.
Oh yeah.
It is. And
And I-
pairs perfectly with cigars.
And I
does.
think if you put ice in it, I actually think it would take away. I don't
It'll
think it would
diminish, I
add.
think.
I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. No need.
Because and what's nice too is, having said that, the viscosity, like I said before, is perfect for the pairing with cigars.
Yeah.
It's like the flavor, the proof, the viscosity, everything seems right.
Oh yeah.
So for like an extra special rum, would you say Santiago 20 is like the
Oh.
best you've had?
Yeah, that's a 10.
That's
I think so,
tremendous.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tremendous.
That's a flat
Yeah.
10 all
Yeah.
day.
all day long.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we rated it
I think we
on
did.
the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we
Straight
gave it a
tens, I
10.
believe.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant rum.
No, that's an expensive rum, right? Like,
Yeah.
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 160 a bottle or something like that.
Oh,
And that
wow.
was in Havana,
Yeah.
which is obviously the only place you can get it.
Yeah.
So, boys, we're coming in the second third here on the El Güegüense Toro Huaco. What do you guys think?
I like it.
Yeah, the pepper is kind of tamed down a little bit for me. Maybe the rum has helped with that.
Yeah.
But this is really a pleasant cigar. I don't know if I would compare this to any other cigar that we've done on the pod.
No, it's a
I'm-
little different.
I'm trying to find cigars to compare it to. Tatuaje I mentioned before, which was not a positive comparison for me.
No.
But that's kind of faded. It's kind of in a league of its own right now.
I agree. It has notes in it that we could pull out from different cigars, but there's no one brand or cigar that I would say brings together these flavors in the way this cigar does.
On the retrohale, you get a nice little sweet fruit note and a little potpourri. It's actually very nice.
Yeah, the flavor hasn't really changed much from the beginning till
consistent.
about halfway.
Yeah.
It's about the same.
Consistent. Yep.
I'm
This-
finding the construction to be excellent
It's
too.
awesome.
I've realized that if you really go back and we look at a lot of the new worlds, we don't mind Nicaraguan puras.
We rate them. We rate them well.
Yeah, I
we
think
rate them
so.
well.
And I mean, obviously, this tobacco is coming out with some age on it. I don't think there's a specific age statement on this, not that I've found, but clearly, as with all Nicaraguan tobacco that we smoke, there's got to be age on it for it to be
Yeah,
a palatable experience.
It's so refined, and it's got to be a few years in the factory before it's rolled.
Yeah, and just Nicaraguan tobacco is so strong to begin with. I mean,
Yeah.
you'd be hard pressed to put out any cigar with super fresh Nicaraguan tobacco. I just feel like it'd kick you around.
We should have like a study done on the palate of the blenders who blend this Nicaraguan tobacco and smoke it fresh. Like, I can't imagine what that experience is like.
But would you think this is medium or medium full?
I think it's
Medium full.
Yeah, I would say
Medium
medium
full.
full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not
not
offensive
complete-
in any way.
Yeah, it's not completely like
it's not full.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Medium
It's a
no.
medium full.
Mhm.
And I think maybe as it heats up towards that last third, as we get to that,
Maybe
it might pick up, but I guess we'll see.
it's smoking well above its pay grade.
I agree.
I agree with that.
For
$10
$10, dude.
Yeah.
This is unbeatable.
Absolutely. So, boys, the cigar industry had a big win against the United States Food and Drug Administration, which has been, I guess, a 7 or 8 year fight now. We've talked about it on the podcast a few times. I believe when Judge Mehta put out, I guess, a previous briefing about kind of where his thoughts were.
I just want to say it's an Indian judge.
Indian judge.
No, what you said was
You could say that. I'm not saying that.
an Indian brother.
Indian brother.
We should send this guy some cigars. But what's beautiful is this FDA regulation on premium handmade cigars has been completely thrown out. And those cigars will not be regulated. The current market and also future entrants, which was the concern of the various organizations and also the cigar manufacturers, of the cost prohibitive nature that this would have brought into the industry to introduce new lines.
It would have destroyed the boutique brands.
It would have.
No doubt
Foundation
about it.
Cigar is a good example
Yeah.
of someone that would have, a brand that would have been really affected by
Exactly
this.
right. Yeah.
Obviously, the big boys, Fuente,
yeah.
Padron,
They can afford to play, but
General,
it's the boutiques.
of
Yeah.
course, and they all came in together and won. It's fantastic.
It's huge. I mean, the problem with the FDA's ruling that this basically overturned was it treated premium cigars no different than cigarettes. And that whole premise is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But every person who's ever lobbied on behalf of the cigar industry has said there's no kid, like they may pursue cigarettes, that is pursuing a premium cigar like this. No kids ever, you'll never find a kid walking around the street with a wise man Güegüense. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
It's laughable. The whole thing is just laughable.
And it's like to think, they put all these, big warning labels on cigarette packs and stuff like that. Obviously, the regulations increase there. There's just no need for the same thing on the whole thing is just silly.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to give a shout out to one of the lizards, Mohammed, whom I met in Cartagena in Colombia.
He's from California, right? We talked about
he's
him on
from
a previous
California.
episode.
Excellent, guy. He could be hanging out with us. He's a lizard. He smokes a lot of cigars, loves Drew Estate, a lot of the New Worlds primarily, but fantastic. And, he sent an article, or the memo confirming that the judge kind of ruled against the FDA in terms of trying to, label these as a part of the, like under the, was it 2019 or 2017? I've forgotten.
16 ruling.
Yeah, 16 ruling.
Some ruling.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic that, the lizards communicate, number one. We're very happy with what's happening. And, thank you, Mohammed, for, sending that article. We really appreciate it. But, the idea is, once again, that we are a community and we don't want to be labeled with cigarettes because at the end of the day, they haven't found any conclusive evidence of it causing the same harmful effects as cigarettes do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They haven't found any conclusive evidence. The FDA has not been able to come up with anything. And so, hey, listen, this is a win for the cigar community, twofolds, right? One, obviously, in terms of the availability of cigars being less regulated. The other being that you can go home and speak to your wife and say, hey, listen, it's not as bad. Hey, listen,
The other thing that I'll say, just speaking about the community, the cigar industry deserves a ton of credit on this. I mean, for this to be a 7-8 year battle They spent millions of dollars trying to having to litigate this whole thing and really seeing it through and sticking with it. I had lunch in DC with the CEO of Cigar Association of America, which is the lead plaintiff on this lawsuit is Cigar Association of America versus the FDA. And it was so funny because at the time the ruling had not yet come down. And this was one of our things we were chatting about. And he's like, you just can't believe for 7 years we've been fighting this damn thing. And you'd think that at some point, finally, we're going to be able to get a resolution. And fast forward a mere days after our lunch, boom, this news pops.
It's pretty crazy timing.
It's insane timing.
Yep.
And so I immediately sent him, an email congratulating him. And I got a great response. He just says, thanks. It only took $7 million in legal fees. I mean, it's absurd. CAA had to pay $7 million. I think PCA spent about $3 million in legal fees. I'm sure some of the other smaller plaintiffs that signed on obviously spent money. Oh. It's just to think that that's the price of common sense prevailing.
That's unbelievable.
In this industry that we care about. It's just absurd.
It is.
And to your point about community, Pagoda, all the articles that came out, namely the one in Cigar Aficionado, it's amazing to see the celebratory statements that were put out in conjunction with the ruling. I mean, you have quotes from Rocky Patel, Carlos Fuente, Lito Gomez, who makes LFD. You have Javier Estades, who is the president and CEO of Tabacalera and chairman of CAA. And then you have Corey Bappert of Oliva. Like you have 10 or 15 guys putting statements together in unison, celebrating this, which is also, to your point about community, like these guys all compete against each other, but not with this.
No.
Everybody's on the same page.
Sure.
It's a united front.
No, it is. And, I hope they open up the, regulations in terms of opening a lot more cigar lounges and stores because, it's been so difficult to see a lot of the presence of these, lounges and stores where we can go and access wherever we may be traveling. Hopefully, just open that up, the idea that we need the availability and the accessibility.
The difficulty with that,
lounges.
a lot of local ordinances have control over the small jurisdictions. They don't necessarily have to be dictated by what was just recently ruled over. That's the problem.
No, I agree with you. But, the thing is, you walk around New York City and it smells like weed everywhere. You can't go to New York City and walk from Penn Station to Times Square without smelling weed.
Of course.
People are allowed to smoke weed on the streets. Mm-hmm. There's stores opening up. Eventually there'll be lounges opening up for weed. Like, what's going on?
Of course.
And you're taking cigars and you're making us the pariah community.
Yeah.
And we don't even distort our state of mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Weed does. And so I don't know. Something's amiss.
It's a very good point.
So yeah, I mean, this is a nice signal, hopefully, to state government. I mean, obviously, this is a federal issue, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lawsuit against the FDA. Obviously, that was a big win, but a lot of these laws, like Bam is saying, they're really come down to state laws as well as even local ordinances in counties and municipalities. And so I hope that this is a signal to these states and municipalities that, okay, maybe we should stop treating cigars just like we do cigarettes or some of these other products. They're not the same thing.
Right.
But I hope some of this maybe is already happening. I was surprised to read today, Cohiba is opening its very first cigar lounge in the U.S.
Really?
In Santa Barbara, California.
Wow.
General Cigar Cohiba, not Cuban Cohiba.
Of course.
The
Yeah.
Red Dot Cohiba.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Santa Barbara.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the
California.
thing. If you can find a way to open that in a
that's
place in California, that's a good sign for the industry.
That's true.
So
Wow.
Cigar Aficionado summed it up pretty nicely to, for someone who doesn't want to go through the entire memo that Pagoda mentioned. What they said was today's news should mean the end of warning labels, pre-market review of cigars, and other limitations that have impeded the ability of cigar makers to work freely. So that is wonderful.
That's tremendous.
Cigar makers can just get back to work.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's funny about this is the FDA tried to make the argument that if the industry wins this lawsuit, that means that premium cigars will be unregulated. And that's total bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Cigars, any form of tobacco is regulated in every single state in
Absolutely.
America, period. So every state has a minimum smoking age that still applies to premium cigars.
Sure.
This ruling does not mean that a 14-year-old can go buy a premium cigar.
Rightfully, everybody would agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
buy
nobody's
weed.
celebrating that
Common
their
sense.
15-year-old can
Right.
go buy a cigar.
So it's just like all these scare tactics that were used. And thank gosh the judge was able to see through all of it and say, there are state laws in place that this will actually have no harmful impact by basically, deregulating from the FDA's sake, at least, the premium cigar market. It's still common sense regulation still does exist.
And it seems like the judge was very frustrated as well. Like some of the stuff I read, he was not kind about his, in his comments about the FDA and their approach to this, and the way that
Rightfully
they
so.
the way that they used data and the studies that they had done to manipulate the truth.
Yeah.
He was not kind about it,
Nope.
and obviously you're seeing that in the ruling. So this is huge, guys.
Oh yeah.
So I guess this means that there would be a lot more boutique cigars would come out now, and
Yeah.
you would see a lot more new stuff coming
Sure.
out.
Which is only good for the industry, right?
Yeah, and it also could have been, it could have also scared, boutique manufacturers from releasing new stuff or making new lines, just, anticipating that there may be some significant costs associated with it, or totally being shut down and being able to release it. So hopefully this also ramps up, research and development, and we see a lot of new releases from, great cigar manufacturers. Yeah, this is great for the lizards, boys.
Yeah, I mean, truly in any industry, it's not every day in any industry that you sue the FDA and win. I mean, this is like monumental just from the standpoint of like sticking it to like big government. I mean, that's
Because
just
they
not something that
effectively have
happens.
unlimited resources.
Yeah.
Like there's no end to what the FDA
Yeah.
can do, right?
It's a bit of a coup, I guess. Yeah.
And this may be good for other industries too, that, telling the FDA to not overstep their bounds and focus on the things that they should be focusing on, like cigarettes.
That's
Right.
absolutely
Great.
right.
Focus on cigarettes.
Yeah.
Be my guest. Focus on chewing
Right.
tobacco. Be
Or
my guest.
marketing to kids, not
Yes.
what our industry is about.
We don't do
Absolutely
that.
not.
So yeah, this is huge. So hopefully we'll be able to have some representatives from the associations on at some point.
We
Cool.
will. We
Yeah.
definitely will.
Looking forward to that and talking to them about what they've experienced and learned and their takeaways.
That'll be a great talk.
Yeah, where are these guys from again? The
Cigar
ones you-
Association of America. So they're the largest trade association on behalf of the cigar industry. So all like the big, like the Altadis, the General Cigars, they're Davidoff, they're their big members. PCA is basically a smaller version of them that's more trade show focused. So like a lot of the biggest lobbying dollars, legal dollars are really coming from CAA. And then PCA is more like industry trade shows, things like that to promote the industry. They lobby as well, and they do great work, but at just kind of different scales.
Mm-hmm.
But how were you able to meet them? Like, what was the connection?
Oh, just one of my business partners is a very good friends with someone at CAA, and they had wanted to get together and chat, and we had a great conversation. And they're very interested in coming on the podcast.
awesome.
Cool.
And this is not the end of issues for the cigar industry. So, like, this is a huge win, but there are other things that they're dealing with around flavors and some other topics that. Again, you give an inch and the FDA is going to take a mile.
Yeah.
And so they're fighting to make sure that they don't lose ground on some of these issues that may seem for us like, oh, well, that doesn't impact us. But that's exactly what then opens the gateway to
Mm-hmm.
a lot more overzealous regulation.
Yeah. We've talked about those flavored cigars, those Philly blunts, those blueberry cigars. We don't consider those cigars.
No, we're not going to
That's
smoke
a
those on this
completely different
podcast.
type of product.
But the problem is, and this is why I can't wait for us to have them on the podcast. The problem is these are all at the end of the day adult products, and
That's
that's
true.
how they're marketed.
Yeah.
There is no advertisement I have seen in my entire lifetime trying to sell a Philly blunt or even some blueberry flavored acid cigar to a
Mhm.
child. I've never seen it once. And so the idea is if you say to the FDA or any regulatory body that you can preclude grown adults from choosing those products, that's a very slippery slope to them saying they can decide any of these products that we enjoy. And that's what becomes the issue.
Yeah. We shall see.
Well, Bam, my takeaway from this is that Senator is certainly a global cigar insider. Would you not say?
He's right behind you. And Pagoda's coming on behind.
No, this is great, and when the senator was saying that he was meeting with them, and then all of a sudden the ruling came down. I mean, this is just fantastic
Yeah,
for the
it's
industry.
tremendous. It is.
It's excellent. All right, boys, we're about halfway through the El Güegüense Toro Huaco. What do you guys think? I think it's pretty damn good.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it, but it's it's really interesting because now that I'm smoking it after quite a few years, it seems to me that it's somewhat flattened out. It's
I'm not getting that.
It's
No, I'm enjoying this. Honestly, it's a very nice experience. It's rich, satisfying cigar. For the dollar value, dude.
for the dollar
it's
value, it's
it
great.
is
I mean,
tremendous.
there's no
Pagoda,
complaints
would you
from
say
them.
that that's a product of your palate changing since the last time you smoked
I
these?
think so, of course.
You're getting
Meaning
refined.
You're, talking
You're
about-
evolving.
I'm evolving, hanging out with the lizards. It's the lizard evolve.
So another note on progress for cigars. We talked about this. Before we came on air, this is huge. So apparently DoorDash has partnered with a company called Industrial Cigar Company to deliver cigars.
This is
They do food and alcohol.
unusual.
This is amazing.
I
Yeah.
am so into this.
It's really interesting.
Amazing.
So, I mean, how is this possible?
These guys have a great story. So basically, it's industrial cigar companies in Frisco, Texas, in like the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And during the pandemic, like every tobacconist had to grapple with when things were shut down, they had a really hard time. They're a brick and mortar based business. They had no way to basically get people to come in to buy cigars. So they, I think, created a website. They started selling stuff online, but they had this clever idea, especially for these local folks, because they don't want to pay to ship this all the way. It's like someone who lives 5 minutes away from their retail shop. And so they reached out to DoorDash to see if they'd be willing to partner to actually DoorDash cigars out to their customers. And they agreed and partnered. And they're now still doing this, which is unbelievable.
Wow.
It's incredible.
I mean, the fact that like this is the problem with all this kind of regulation. The fact that any adult can go on DoorDash or Uber Eats or some of these platforms and have liquor or drizzly delivered to their door, a product that is 21 plus. Why not this?
Mm-hmm.
Especially this is not a cigarette, especially a premium cigar. Why shouldn't an adult be able to have this delivered to their home? So I hope that this starts to take off in some other states and markets that maybe realize we do this with alcohol responsibly. Why can't we do it responsibly with this product?
Yeah.
So is this a nationwide thing? I can go online.
No, just in Frisco, Texas.
I think that's kind of their testing ground. And obviously every state's going to be different. I think Texas is probably
not every state is Texas.
Yeah, probably a little easier than New Jersey or Connecticut or California. Or
any lizards that live out there, give it a try and please report back to us.
I mean, I'm
let us
sorry.
know how it goes.
Just think about this. How many times have we been out at a lounge anywhere? We're having cigars, and let's say we're running out of kind of what we brought to smoke, and at that point you're really limited, right? It's what does the next guy have that maybe they want to share, or what does a cigar vending machine have if you somehow encounter one of these?
Or
things.
what does 7-Eleven have? The Philly blunt department.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine just sitting there one night and saying, "I'm really craving a Padron 80th," and just having a DoorDasher bring you a Padron 80th? How amazing would that be?
It'd be incredible.
It's decadent, is what it is.
Or bringing 7 of them.
I mean, I don't even care if I had a Padron 80th. If this was available, I just want to support this happening. I would just want to have one delivered to me.
Yeah.
It's like the wonder of cigars. It'd be amazing.
And that would definitely prevent me from smoking any Xenos under the K Dorsey label.
That's true.
And to Pagoda's point, and what we just talked about with the FDA, it's like, liquor being delivered to your home. I mean, I've had liquor delivered to my home. They just leave it sometimes. You're supposed to, it's kind of loosey-goosey. And like Pagoda said, cigars are not mind altering.
No.
You could smoke a cigar and get in the car right after, and you're not having an impairment issue.
That's right.
So it makes no sense to me that tobacco is that premium handmade cigars are so looked down upon, like they would with cigarettes or something else.
There was buried in the notes of the case, the ruling that was issued, less than 1%. I think it's even less than 0.5% of underage minors have ever even tried and gotten caught trying to get their hands on a premium cigar.
I was just going to ask you that. Like, how do they prevent, like, even with alcohol delivery, do you have to sign a disclaimer that you're above 21?
Well, you have to
That's
show an ID when it's delivered.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how many times I've done that when Uber Eats or DoorDash
I know.
delivers. I don't think I've ever
Right.
pulled my ID out. I have gray in my beard, so maybe that does it. But it's not.
And you have a beard.
That's a good point.
You actually have gray? I never
I
noticed
do.
that.
I do have a little gray.
Look at you.
I'll show you later, man.
All right, yeah.
Up close and personal.
You got it.
Yeah, so that's a big win, and I would love to see that expanded. I'll give you a good example where my parents are out in Northeast Pennsylvania. There is no local tobacco shop. I mean, you can't. We're lucky in New Jersey. I know for so many listeners out there, the exclusive way that they get tobacco delivered to them, cigars delivered to them, is via mail order. But to be able to sit at my parents' house and there be a tobacconist that's able to deliver like this,
That's cool.
I mean, that would be a game changer.
It is.
It's a game changer.
Oh, yeah.
It's huge because you just think of how many tobacconists out there have shops that are in areas without a lot of foot traffic, right? Like they're not naturally able to have customers just coming in and out every day. The idea that they could not have to ship this out in a very expensive way and deal with packaging and all this stuff, just literally hand an order to a dasher and go bring it to someone's home. It would be game changing.
It's a great
for a lot
opportunity
of these
to expand their revenue for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also access. I mean, think about if you're at a bar or something, right? And there's an outdoor patio that they allow cigar smoking, but they don't sell cigars. They say, hey, here's a DoorDash, QR code.
Oh, that's cool.
Pump it, you scan it on your phone, and they'll deliver
yeah.
the cigars in a half hour, 40 minutes after your meal.
Tremendous.
Like that's a game changer.
That's tremendous.
Not only for the tobacconist, but also for that bar
Mhm.
to keep serving and keep you there. I mean, it's a win-win-win for everybody.
Have you
Agreed.
come back, actually? Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Yep.
And good for DoorDash.
Smart.
Because I'm sorry, they took a risk.
That's a huge risk.
Huge risk. They could get skewered by, every industry opponent that we know obviously goes after cigars.
Gasp.
and they weren't afraid. I give them a lot of credit.
So I got to say, boys, this Mount Gay XO Rum is fantastic.
It's a home run.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in Havana.
I do too.
Like it's really that close for me. And I know there's, Havana, Cuban rum purists out there who would think we're crazy, but as far as United States being able to go to a liquor store and buy some rum that's as close as you can get, this is it so far. And for $50, game changer.
This is literally going to change my life. I mean, I can only visit Cuba so many times during a year, so I'm without Havana Club for a good portion of the year. The fact that now I'm going to be able to get this stuff, this is going to.
Did you
keep
go
me
through
happy.
the 6 bottles you brought back?
I didn't bring back 6.
I thought you
What do
did.
you think? I'm Gizmo?
I
Yeah.
resent the
Yeah,
implication.
Mr. 400 Cigars.
In support of the Cuban people.
No, I think I brought back 4 bottles.
4?
Yeah.
Nice.
Gizmo drank one of them.
By himself.
That's right.
And I think I have 2 left.
I'm taking hits, Spam.
I can see that.
I'm taking hits, man.
I've got a liter bottle lying.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice.
I got it from Cartagena.
Oh, nice.
So,
Tastes the
boys,
same.
the end of the summer is coming, unfortunately. Labor Day's in a few days.
Can't believe how quickly this summer went by.
Man, it flew by.
It did.
This year, meaning this
Yeah,
has been the
man.
fastest year.
Yeah, it's been
Fourth
super
quarter's
fast.
coming.
It's crazy. So, end of summer, obviously getting into what I think is better outdoor smoking weather. Obviously, sometimes in the summer, you have those nights that are just wonderful, but maybe it's 2 or 3 nights of the week you can do it. But
Oh,
between weather, humidity, and just temperature,
September through October is tremendous. In the
Perfect.
evenings, oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
I can't wait to light a fire,
Oh, yeah.
sit outside,
Yeah, it's been a
light
while.
up.
Been
Yeah.
a while.
I got a lot of cigar boxes to burn.
Yeah,
yes,
me
we do.
too.
so
We
do
all
I actually. Yeah, so do I.
Oh, yeah. And they light up really fast. Good,
Oh, yeah.
good kindling.
So, what are your Labor Day plans? Anything planned with the family, kids, smoking?
Maybe Sagamore.
Oh, okay.
It'll be our second time going. I love it. It's a great spot.
So, do you go up there for the whole week? Just a few days?
A few days. 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
Good meals, good cigar,
Not 4 hours.
something like that. 3
It's
hours.
right by Lake George.
I don't drive. My wife doesn't let me drive.
Wait, are you serious?
She drives. She drives.
She thinks yes.
Hold the phone.
All right, she thinks I'm a bad driver.
Wow.
You need a Tesla.
And your wife
And
is a
you let
better
her?
driver?
She's a pretty good driver. So I'd like to leisurely sit back in my passenger side and just chill. I'm on my phone.
So-
Bam is a passenger princess.
Hold
Uh-huh.
on. So your rims are in one piece. Wow.
They are.
You are a lucky man.
Now I know where you're going because on our previous car, the rims were dinged up. But I had a conversation with her. I said, honey, look, this is a scratch. That's a scratch. You get that when you touch the curbs. Stay away from the curb. We're good.
And she does.
She does. She toes the
Wow.
line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's
One of a
pretty good.
kind.
Yes.
I exclusively drive all the time. No knock on Mrs. Gizmo, but
All right.
yeah,
Same.
I'm always driving.
Yeah, my wife. I mean, I wish she would offer to drive, but she doesn't. It's like, no, you drive.
Yeah, me too.
I'm looking for someone to
Do you
drive.
do you really do you really wish you would offer to drive?
Sometimes, yeah.
I don't.
Sometimes, for a long drive, I'm like, I don't mind.
I got
Doesn't
a kid in the house going to college, so that's going to
Mm.
consume the end of August,
Yeah,
early
that's
September.
another thing. Got to help the kids move back into college.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
my Labor Day plan.
That's
That's
a lot of
coming
work.
up.
A lot
Yeah.
of work.
And then work gets really busy for me in the fall, so
Mm,
there's not a lot of like getting away. Hopefully, we'll be able to go to Cuba later this year, but
nice.
we'll see.
Yeah, we might do like Whiteface, Lake Placid,
Nice.
um,
And the summer.
end of summer.
There you go.
Yeah,
we might do
usually
like
go like right
Havana.
after Labor Day.
Yeah.
Senator, how about you?
Very low key. I mean, it's my birthday around that time.
That's right.
And I'll be hanging with my son. My wife's off to Cabo.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, nice.
Nice, dude.
Bachelor.
Girls trip.
Yeah.
I've done a few Cuba trips, so I've got to pay it forward. And plus, I'm not looking to get on like a 6-hour flight just to go to a nice beach. So
Yeah, man.
she's going with her girlfriends. I'll be home. I'll be smoking a lot of these, and
Yeah.
I'll be enjoying it.
You put
Yeah.
Senator Jr. right behind the glass door and show him how to smoke a cigar.
That's right. That's right.
I feel
You
like he
know
already
well.
knows. I feel like the kid is already he's reaching for cigar aficionado. He's reaching
Yeah,
for
he is.
Padrones.
That's right.
It's true.
Little lizard.
His favorite magazine is CA.
That's awesome. So, boys, we're into the last third here of the.
No complaints at all.
Yeah, I love
I
it.
gotta say.
And the pairing is just, I can't get over it.
So Pagoda, when was the last time you had the cigar? Was it really that long?
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't really, the thing is I stopped pursuing them and I stopped purchasing them. So it's been a while. And then, it's not carried in most of the cigar stores anyway. It's not something you can go and just pick them up. And I haven't really ordered them online as well. For some reason, I think I started leaning more towards Tabernacle. After the Güegüense, I got into Tabernacle. And that's a little more preferred cigar for me now. Tabernacle and then obviously the Liga 9. So
I would give this out at parties.
I would too.
Yeah. To the novice and to the seasoned cigar smoker for the price point, I'd smoke this with them happily.
I think I would go with the Robusto.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
not this ring gauge.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
But
good
the
point.
cigar itself, I think it's a great point that
Oh,
it
yeah.
has versatility, that it's got a smooth delivery that
Mhm.
someone who's inexperienced can very much handle this,
Yeah.
and someone who is more experienced, there's enough flavor in here to really keep them interested.
And
And
I-
a good price point.
Yeah,
that
great
you
price.
Don't mind handing them.
And I could, for a summer barbecue, if there's a big group or even a fall, like pre-Halloween party, which we sometimes do, it's a great cigar for anybody.
great smoke output as well. So
Yeah.
people feel they're really enjoying it as
And the
well.
flavors
Yeah.
is right there.
Yes.
And I think it's pretty accessible, especially if you
Mm.
hand it to someone who's not very experienced after a meal. I think this cigar is going to do very well for them.
Yeah.
Like if you talk about the community dads events that you do and stuff for
course.
charity,
This is a perfect
is
cigar for that event.
in price, in
Oh,
flavor,
Tremendous.
in construction, I think it's
Absolutely.
perfect for them.
Yeah, 100%.
And to Pagoda's point about some of the foundation stuff not being widely available at
Mm.
retailers, I think the Olmec is probably helping his lines show up there because I see them everywhere.
The Olmec
The
line?
Olmec I see everywhere. To the point I didn't even realize that was a foundation cigar.
Yeah. I've had a few of those. Haven't had a bad one. But, they do need to sit for a bit.
How would you compare that to this?
It's a different experience. I like this better.
Really?
I do.
First cigar was a winner for Nick Melillo.
Oh.
That's actually amazing to hear you say that.
Yeah, it's because it's more substantial and it lasts longer. The flavor profile for both are pretty good, but there's just something about this that I'm gravitating to right now. I like it.
Would you say the Olmec is like a more of a medium smoke? Or
Yeah,
something?
it's definitely medium. There's a Maduro, which a little bit harsh, but overall good. Yeah, this is actually a little bit.
They do this in the Maduro as well. I just had it once. I really didn't enjoy it the time I had it because it depends on what you're smoking in those periods of time. And but I don't want to give it Maduro a shot because I'm a big Maduro guy, and it's like but I remember I always preferred this to the Maduro at that point in time when they'd come up with the Maduro as well.
So I will say, I mentioned I've had the Maduro. I've never had this. I think this is better.
This is right. Yeah.
The Maduro, it's just not as smooth as this cigar.
You've had this in a Maduro?
Yeah.
Really?
The Wise Man Maduro.
Ah, okay. Never
It's
had
a
that.
red label. It's a red label.
Exactly. And it's a good cigar. There's nothing wrong with it, but this has just a smoother, more complex delivery.
Mhm.
That to me was more simple, straightforward, maybe a little bit fuller, but not delivered as elegantly as this is.
Yeah.
And I think to Pagoda's point, I think it's that Corojo 99 wrapper that we've mentioned so many times on the podcast that's appeared in so many cigars that we've enjoyed.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are those, we call it lower budget Nicaraguans that under 12, under 15, under 12 kind of price point that have been absolute slam dunks for us. That tobacco's appeared quite a bit.
Oh, I think the rating on this is going to do really well with us for a $10 budget cigar. This is just incredible.
Yeah, I think so.
And even though it's a Toro, and when I saw the cigar, I felt a little, oh my Lord, this is significantly larger than what I'm smoking nowadays.
It isn't, oh my Lord.
but overall, it's been smoking well. So no complaints so far.
So the other nice thing about the end of summer, boys, is thankfully it'll be the end of the spotted lanternflies, which have invaded both of my businesses and my home.
They've become Senator's arch enemies.
They are. I wish I could get like a flamethrower and just burn them all, but apparently that's not advisable because I looked into this.
What? You can't burn them?
You should burn your house down.
No, it's like something
Do
about
they survive the flame?
it. Like puts out a scent that attracts more. Believe me, I thought this may be my solution. I would have bought like a blowtorch or like one of those things for a creme brulee and just like burn them all. That's not
Puba's
advisable.
lighter.
Puba's lighter. That's right.
Yeah.
What's strange is we live in the same town. I've yet to see one anywhere in my neighborhood.
Yeah,
Oh
So
my gosh!
so there
When I got to the lounge today, Giz and I pulled in at the exact same time. There was one literally crawling up the side of the building.
What? Really?
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
The thing is, you don't notice them unless you're looking for them.
You know what's funny? I see them in Manhattan and Brooklyn.
Oh,
I do see them there.
You know what's interesting too is when you try to kill them, which
They're not easy.
they jump. They like jump like
Yeah.
like
so fast.
crickets.
Really?
Yeah, they're real fast.
Hmm.
But they're just
Are
such
are they harmful? Like
they're
what-
just
They're
it's an
extremely
invasive,
harmful.
Yeah, it's an invasive species.
So basically, once whatever foliage they get onto, they kill it.
Mm.
Like completely kill it. If you Google this, there are articles of people who have literally had like $30,000, $50,000 worth of damage at their property. It kills trees, entire trees, the whole tree. Whatever it is sucking out of the tree ends up killing it. The whole thing rots. You have to remove it. People have lost like 50 trees. If you
Jesus.
have a property with a lot of trees and you have no choice but to remove them, the tree's going to fall and hit your house. It's a dead
Jeez.
tree.
So
Let me tell you, that's not
it's-
cheap either.
No,
No.
Pulling
no.
trees out.
No,
you're talking
Oof.
$1,000, $2,000, some trees just to
Some
remove.
more than that. Yeah.
It's crazy. So I got very scared. Last year is when like the state put out a
It
warning.
started last year.
Yeah. If you see them, kill them immediately. They destroy everything. And I was so thrilled. I said, wow, somehow I haven't really seen any on my property. No issue.
Yeah, good.
Fast forward to this year. I was trimming the hedges, as you guys enjoy hearing.
In his boat shoes.
The only thing
Senator's
I do.
green thumb.
The only thing I do. And as I'm doing this,
Is it battery powered?
It is. It's electric.
Of course, it's
Oh,
electric.
it's the best. I'm sorry, way better.
It's the
If
best.
you're going to tell me that you need a gas-powered hedge trimmer,
Yeah, no,
you're
that's-
being ridiculous.
It is
It
ridiculous.
doesn't require much power.
Really?
It's so much easier.
How's your Husqvarna trimmer going along?
Steel.
He likes steel.
Okay,
He likes
got it.
steel.
Steel even makes electric products now.
They do a lot of
How
that.
about this? I have these one which electric, which had a cord. I cut
Oh.
2 cords down. I'm done.
Yeah, you got to cut the cord. You need
Yeah,
the battery power.
I need the battery power.
And they last
yeah.
so long because it doesn't require a lot of power to power just
That
like a hedge
happens though,
trimmer.
Pagoda. Happens if you're rambunctious
I'm
and you're
an-
just going through it.
I'm a novice.
all right, that's all right.
So I'm out there trimming the hedges, and all of a sudden I'm like, what are these red things? And I'm like, holy shit, it's the lanternflies. And I just saw 1 or 2 at first. Okay, no big deal. Then I start seeing a bunch of them, and they're all just kind of buried in the different bushes and stuff in my back and side yard. And thankfully, I caught it early. So last year, if you called like any pest company, there was like no solution to these.
They don't have a pesticide for this.
No.
No, they
creature?
don't.
But they have figured something out because Horizon Pest Control that everybody in this area pretty much uses.
Yeah.
I called them because I have them do a whole plan, the whole program for me annually now. And they do have something to get rid of them. They sprayed every single hedge, tree, everything
Vinegar.
around my property. No, this is
No?
like some really, because it's the same thing that they do like a combo spray. It's like ticks, mosquitoes, lanternflies, all this stuff. Kid you not, fast forward a week after they sprayed everything, I was finding dead ones, dramatically less. And now at this point, whenever I see them, they're just like belly up. They're dead.
That's
it's
great.
amazing, which has saved my plants and stuff.
course,
It's like,
it's
I don't
worth
want them
it.
all to
Yeah.
die. And the bush that I found the most on, half of it is like completely dying
Oh,
because they
it's-
were,
it's
preying
awful.
on it basically. So I caught it just in time before it caused a serious problem. But, it cost me like $600 to have
Oh
them
my
like spray
gosh.
all this shit. So,
Landscaping's expensive. All
Yeah.
the hedges and bushes, it's not cheap.
well, this isn't even landscaping. This is just pest control.
But they're
Well, if
beautiful.
it's on a bush, if
On
it's
top
killing
of
half
it.
a bush.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're beautiful looking though.
they are. That's the crazy thing. They're actually like probably the like nicest looking bug you'll ever see, but they cause more damage than any bug, honestly, you could possibly have.
Wow.
Period.
I've also noticed this year there have been some really aggressive hornets or wasps that have been building like these really weird looking nests around where I smoke outside
Really?
on my deck.
You got to have this sprayed too.
I
Wait a
have
minute.
I have
the
this.
company do that.
Well, I have the spray. I just
on your
get them.
house, they're
No,
building.
Yeah.
Forget the spray.
Yeah,
there
have
is some
them come out and
crazy
do it.
commercial grade stuff
Oh
that
my
these
God.
companies have.
Is this stuff that
It
like
will-
like after they're done 2 weeks later, there's like another
No.
ear growing
No,
out of
no,
your
no.
head or something?
No. It's no,
I mean,
1 hour later, you're totally in the clear. Just for an hour, you're not. You shouldn't go in those areas.
is this a
basically.
Monsanto product?
It's not. It's not. I'm telling you, it's safe for because all this stuff is so regulated.
Hey,
safe for
Giz.
kids.
No, I'm
safe
talking
for
to your other
pets.
head.
No, it's amazing. This is the first year I've lived in my house here. I don't know, 4 years. I've never had problems with like bees or wasps. This year, these like big aggressive wasps were all coming around the house.
Wow.
They were everywhere. I had this company come, gone.
You guys must live in the outback because I don't get any of this.
Well, I have just straight woods all.
Oh,
behind
that's
my
true.
I
house.
do too.
Yeah.
I have a lot
Yeah.
of woods.
Yes,
but I
that's
use
true.
I use Terminix.
So
and
you
they've
do
been
live in the
doing it-
outback.
So we've been using them for the last 5 years now. They
Mm.
come in and spray
That's great.
inside of the house, outside the house, because we get these cave crickets in the basement, in the lower level of the house,
Mhm.
because they love
Near the cigar tower.
yeah,
They get into the house?
they used to. Yeah, I haven't seen them in like a couple of years
Oh,
now,
okay.
but yeah,
Interesting.
they can because they like moisture and they like
Sure.
because we have so much woods, and then you have the lake right there.
Yeah.
So because the combination of the water and the trees.
He's got everything in the house. He had a raccoon come through his
I know.
ceiling.
Yeah, the
Terminix doesn't have a raccoon plan for you?
Yeah, I was about to ask.
no,
No choking plan or you get a big burly guy with gloves coming onto the property. Mr. Rooster, I got it.
no, I got it.
I got it.
The rooster,
Rooster
says,
doesn't pay
I'll
for
join
that."
you. I'll join you too.
You need a hand? Oh man. Pests, man.
Coming to the last third.
Yeah.
Good segue.
So boys, we're coming to the end of the Toro Huaco from El Güegüense. and our pairing tonight, the Mount Gay XO Rum. Before we rate it, any final thoughts here? What are you guys thinking?
Great pairing. Overall, a rich experience.
I'm very happy with, from a budget standpoint, I think this is budget, win, flavor, construction, pairing. The rum, obviously.
The larger bottle was $50. How much is this little bottle that we have here? Do we know that?
It was a gift from Eddie Mau, so but I'm assuming it's probably
half?
$30.
35.
Yeah, $30, $35.
Wow, and a $10.
Yeah, incredible.
It's a $40 experience.
So, boys, you ready to do the formal liquor rating on the Mount Gay XO Rum?
Yeah.
All right, Bam, you're up.
I got to go 9 on this thing.
All right.
It's delicious. It drinks really easily. Beautiful, delicious, really satisfying. 9.
Pagoda.
You're between an 8 and a 9. All right, I'll go with a 9 as well because I haven't put a chip of ice and I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
My man.
Senator.
Easily a 9.
Mhm.
I even flirted with a 10.
Mm.
The only reason I didn't give it a 10, I can't ignore, like, Havana Club 7 is like $20 and makes me so happy. And that I'm pretty sure I gave it 10. This is $55. So this is priced like, a good premium spirit. So the value is not as extraordinary as that, but this is smooth, flavorful, has body, doesn't need any ice. I'm almost talking myself into a 10 as I'm saying this. I'm going to do it.
There you go.
I'm going to go and I'm going to say a 10.
All right.
All right, so you stole my thunder, but I've been at a 10 on this since the first sip. This is the best rum that I've had outside of Havana.
Well done.
Hands down. I love the four square that we did on the podcast twice now. Once we didn't rate, once we did. That's a 10. This, for what it is, for the price, for the drinkability, no ice, the viscosity, I can go on and on and on. This is absolutely a 10 for me. No question about it.
There you go.
Brilliant, brilliant rum.
The rating is excellent.
9.5, boys.
That's amazing.
Excellent.
It's perfect.
It is
95
perfect.
all
Yep.
day on this.
What a
Fantastic.
revelation, honestly.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is.
And we have to say thank you again to Eddie Mau for this gift
Lizard
because
Mau.
he turned us onto it for sure. And I'm
Mhm.
going to go buy this tomorrow.
Right.
All right, boys, you ready to do the formal lizard rating now on the El Güegüense Toro Huaco?
Can I just say something quickly on the rum?
Sure.
The one thing that I desperately hope they do is change the packaging.
Mm.
Because this drinks like such a premium spirit. And the packaging is so simple. It looks
The branding is not very impressive.
it's
It's
not
not.
good, and
Yeah.
and it really deserves to be presented better. And I
It's,
say that because
it's understated.
It
extremely,
is. Yeah.
extremely. I mean, I say this because even bottles that have looked good enough, they improve and upgrade their branding. I mean, we did recently a cognac, Courvoisier VSOP. Courvoisier used to come in a different bottle with this blue label. They now changed it. It's a white label. It looks like a single malt Scotch bottle. It looks beautiful.
Yeah. It's
That's
white,
a
white and red. Yeah.
$40 spirit.
Mhm.
And they've done that. This is a $55 spirit. It drinks like a $80, $90 spirit. I just really hope that they upgrade the packaging because I hope this business does extremely well.
Agreed.
This is great stuff.
So let's compare it to some of the other rums that we've done. We mentioned a few of them on the pod tonight. So we did the Havana Club 7-year out of Cuba. That was a 9.8, which obviously, again, to your point, Senator, I think is factoring in price and obviously
Value.
Sure.
the value there, no question. Santiago de Cuba 20-year was a 10.
Well
which,
deserved.
No question about
Yep.
that. And then we did the 4 Square Rum Exceptional Cask Selection, which was a 9.0. We did the Bourbon Court 15-year, which was a very, very weak 4.6. That was horrible.
Wow.
That was really bad.
That could be used on these flies.
Maybe that's what they spray. Maybe they spray
probably
they
spray
spray
Bourbon Court.
the Bourbon Court on the spotted lantern
That's
flies.
what it is. Yes.
They're all drunk now. It's great.
That's why they're
Drunk
belly up.
and dead. And the other one that we mentioned tonight, I think this is the last one that we mentioned, was the Appleton Estate 12, which got an 8.3. So at a 9.5, I think this slots in perfectly rating wise
Yeah.
versus the other rums that we've done.
It's uncanny how it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting good at this, Bam.
We are.
This rating stuff. All right, boys, you ready to do the formal lizard rating now on the Güegüense Toro Huaco? Rooster, you're up.
For me, it's a 7.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm surprised to
Wow.
hear that, given your experience.
I mean, it's okay. It's a little flat for me. It's not, would I go out and buy a whole box of these cigars? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
If I was in a bind, I might pick one up if there was really nothing else. Because there's some other ones that we have had in the past that I really enjoyed more. So it's between a 7 and 8, but I think a 7 that's my score.
I think it's because it's Pagoda cigar.
Oh,
I think there's still a little bad blood.
Should be-
with
It
the-
should be a 2.
Well, I'm glad he didn't put
Well,
it down.
You're actually, by the way, that's a Xeno in your hand with a band on it.
That explains it.
Senator.
I'm at an 8, a solid 8. I haven't had any rough edges throughout my smoking experience. I think the first thing that stood out is the construction. It's extremely well constructed, great draw, mostly invisible seams. Their whole, like, their labels, their branding, it's a little eccentric in some ways, but I actually kind of like it for some reason. And the cigar itself, the flavor, it had flavor notes that I enjoy. I liked a little bit of the coffee that was in there. I liked a little of the sweetness. Any of the cedar notes were never overpowering, which would have definitely knocked it down for me. The pepper was there, but not as aggressive as, what's the brand I'm forgetting right now?
Tatuaje.
Tatuaje, not as aggressive as a Tatuaje, which was good. And so I would smoke this again. I would definitely pick up a smaller ring, not as large a ring gauge, just because I don't smoke Toros all that often. But the fact that in a Toro, I'm actually enjoying this a lot speaks volumes to me about this cigar. And I'm a sucker for a Nicaraguan Puro as well. I think that's where we're getting all this great flavor from. So I'm very pleased. I give it an 8.
Yeah, good score.
So I'm also at an 8. I think, for everything you guys have just said, the cigar is not really in my wheelhouse per se in size. It's not something I can see, like Rooster said, about, running out and buying a box or even a $5. But for what it was for this experience, calling back to what Senator often says about a new cigar experience we have that's great or good. It's like if I walked into a humidor and this is a cigar that was there and I didn't know much else, I'd be totally happy to pick this up. No question. So for me, it's an 8. I'm curious how the Robusto would do. Maybe we do that next in the line,
Sure.
in a future episode, but an 8 all day. I think that's right where I'm at. Pagoda.
I think that's a really fair score. For me, it's a solid 8. And also because of my history with it, if it was something different, I don't know whether I'd be rating an 8. I'd be maybe closer to a 7. I don't know. I've been between a 7 and 8 throughout. Definitely an 8 for me.
Bam.
Nice. This is a unique new world. I haven't had one like this. So for that and the way it's performing, it's an 8. It's delicious, really easy to smoke, beautifully made. But again, those notes are unique. You don't get that in a lot of new worlds.
So the formal lizard rating, boys, on the Güegüense Toro Huaco is a 7.8, which I think is a perfect score.
I don't know. I think it's a little low. I'd like the complex. This is a complex cigar for $10.
What did you give the CAO?
I think I gave it an 8 if I remember correctly.
I think I gave it the same.
Yeah.
I preferred that over this.
It's the strength of that
The
I
strength.
know would appeal.
Yeah.
So this just kind of like I needed some more out of this.
Yeah.
The other thing too is, apples to apples. I'm curious how this would perform compared to the BX3 in a Robusto.
Yeah, true.
Right.
I don't know if we would have given the score that we did to the BX3 if that was in a Toro, in a 56 ring gauge cigar. I don't know if that would have performed like
I
that.
would
for
guess
us.
that if we did the Robusto, your score would probably be an 8.
Maybe.
Yep. And I think we would maintain an 8 all the way around. I think that's probably where it would end up. I'm guessing.
But I think a 7.8 is a fair score for
Yeah,
this
it's a good score. It's a good
It's
recommend.
definitely recommend.
And
Yeah.
we're talking about a budget cigar.
Dude, $10.
You know, to give you 90 minutes of a really nice smoking experience.
Oh yeah.
We didn't fight it at all with draw, with
Nope.
burn, with construction. I mean, it performed great.
And tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, boys, a great pairing tonight. A 9.5 for the Mount Gay XO Rum and a 7.8 for the Güegüense Toro Huaco.
It's really amazing. I keep asking myself, what would I rate it going back into 2015? And at that point in time, it was definitely a 9 for me. I just think either it's my palate evolving or my flavor profile has changed a little bit. It's interesting. It's not something I really go out and seek, even today. But definitely, I was reminiscing about the past, smoking this. It's a really good cigar just to hand out to people.
Well, I was just about to say the
Introduce them, yeah.
versatility of handing this out to a group. I think that matters for me.
Yeah, and most importantly, being able to smoke it with that group.
Oh yeah.
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 You're not wanting to reach for something else.
I mean, that's
No.
why I gave it an 8. For me, if I would have given it a 7, it's something that, like, sure, maybe for a novice cigar smoker, I'd hand out and they would enjoy, but I couldn't as nearly as much. And I think I would enjoy this just as much as anybody. It wouldn't be my finisher. I would, this would, why, again, this goes to the point Rooster and I always go back and forth on. If Rooster's looking to have 1 or 2 cigars, I get why this doesn't cut it for him. But for me, if I'm going to have 4 or 5 cigars, like this could be my first, second, even third cigar.
That's right.
And then I'm going to have like a Padron or something with more flavor as my 4th or 5th. So it slots in well in an instance like that.
Yeah, I would hand this to everyone else, but I'd smoke something else.
A Zeno.
Ladies and gentlemen, classic Rooster.
Yeah, it would be a Zeno, wouldn't it?
No. So, Rooster, thank you for these awesome cigar stands.
Yeah, very nice.
And we have to
Rooster.
shout out again Troy Woodworks, Habano Troy, for this.
I just realized
Beautiful work.
it does have a bottle opener.
What?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Look at that. There's a bottle opener on it.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Every lizard
Oh,
needs to
this
run
is
out and grab these
amazing.
right now.
So this
Wow.
is cool.
Tell Habano Troy that we sent you, TroyWoodworks.com.
Nice.
All right. And we have to thank Eddie Mau Mau, too, for the Mount Gay.
Lizard
Yes.
Mau Mau, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Great guy.
All right, boys, again, so a 9.5 for the Mount Gay XO Rum and a 7.8 for the Güegüense Toro Huaco. Excellent night, boys. We'll see you all next week.
Awesome.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for joining us. You can find our merch store and ratings archive at our brand new website, loungelizardspod.com. That's loungelizardspod.com. Don't forget to leave us a rating and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to reach out, say hello, tell us what you're smoking, email us, hello@loungelizardspod.com. You can also find us on Instagram @loungelizardspod. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.